Hey guys, hope you're having a wonderful day today, and let's just jump into it. I wanted to talk to you about some new development concerning Gamestop and what it means for us, the retail investors. So, today, Interactive Brokers and Robinhood removed the option to purchase GME shares, GameStop shares, and or options. So these are the stocks that were blocked on Robinhood. You're no longer able to purchase them. All you can do is sell them if you own these shares. The Robinhood CEO tried to justify why this happened. And when he was asked if there was a liquidity issue, he kept saying there's no liquidity issue, but they were just trying to protect people from big losses.
But explain then, why did you do this? Did the SEC call you and tell you you had to do this? Was there a problem inside the company in terms of liquidity, in terms of the amount of deposits that you had to put in front to the exchanges? What led to this?
Sure, and let me explain exactly how this works. First of all, I want to address some of the misinformation that's been out there because there's a lot of it. We absolutely did not do this at the direction of any market maker or hedge fund or anyone we route to or other market participants. The reason we did it was because Robinhood is a brokerage firm. We have lots of financial requirements, including SEC net capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. So that's money that we have to deposit at various clearinghouses. So some of these requirements fluctuate quite a bit based on volatility in the markets, and they can be substantial in the current environment where there's a lot of volatility and a lot of concentrated activity in these names that have been going viral on social media. So we're really in unprecedented times, and in order to protect the firm and protect our customers, we had to limit buying in these stocks. And to be absolutely clear, Go ahead.
But it sounds to me, though, that you're suggesting that there was a liquidity problem inside the firm. And my question about that then raises all sorts of new questions about whether there's a systemic issue underneath the system and underneath the company unto itself.
No, there was no liquidity problem. And to be clear, this was done preemptively. So we did this proactively, and thousands of other securities remain tradable on the platform. Customers that held these positions were able to sell them.
All right, so you heard this. You can still sell your shares or your options or whatever, but you can't buy anymore. And my question is, who can you sell these shares to if normal people aren't supposed to buy them? Who are you selling your GameStop shares to? Could it be the people that shorted it so heavily that are now in deep trouble and need to artificially reduce the price of GameStop by not allowing you to buy it? Which, by the way, how do you get a stock to go up? You buy it. If you're not able to buy the stock, all you can do is sell it, which in turn reduces the price. So they like to talk about market manipulation, but this is a whole new level. They made it basically impossible for the stock to go up because all you can do is sell it. Now, the CEO of Interactive Brokers tried to justify it as well, but this guy was at least a little more honest. He basically talked about how they did this to protect themselves and to protect the market. And by the market, they mean the banks and the hedge fund managers, basically the people that got themselves in this problem, in this situation. They're doing this to protect those very people. The people that shorted the stock over 140%. That's right. Those people are now in need of saving. Again, just like they were in 2008, just like they were in the dot-com bubble and probably in the Great Depression. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes all the way back to the time when the stock market was invented.
Just to be clear, you're worried about the middlemen. Are you doing this move to protect yourself or to protect your customers?
Partly to protect ourselves, but mostly to protect, of course, to protect our customers, but most of all to protect the marketplace, to protect the clearinghouse. So if there are 10 to 15 billion dollars of losses in there, somebody has to pay them. Will they be able to pay it? Is the big question.
Well, this basically covers it. What they're saying is there's a lot of losses, 10 to 15 billion, and somebody's going to have to pay it. And now that this time it's not the retail investors paying it, all of a sudden we need to change the rules. And I find it interesting that he was so honest when they asked him why you do it. He said, well, yeah, it's to protect ourselves, to protect our customers. And they don't mean you or me. They mean the hedge funds, the people that are basically using us to sell us the shares for extra premium when we're buying them. Now he talks about how there's about $15 billion that somebody would have to pay. And that somebody, it's not us. It's not the people that hold GameStop shares. It's the people that shorted it. And I like to point this out multiple times. Every chance I get, they shorted it over 140%. So, needless to say that those people are in deep trouble. And now the platforms that we are using are basically taking their sides, pushing us out of our positions, making it impossible to purchase more shares, and graciously giving us the opportunity to sell our shares to these hedge funds that are trying to cover their asses after they messed up. Over the course of these last couple of days, I've seen media say some stupid stuff, but this one probably takes the cake. For some reason, CNN decided to blame Trumpism to explain the GameStop stock surge. And if you read the article, I mean, it's a bunch of nonsense, but what they're talking about is how it's because of Trump that people hate the elites, and it's because of this that the retail investors are targeting the hedge fund managers. And they even have the quote that Elon Musk said, game stonk. They're talking about how immoral and how wrong it is that retail investors are making a lot of money on GameStop. And of course, this is CNN, so everything gotta lead to Trump somehow. CNN wasn't the only one that found the similarities. This article over here talking about how there are scores of similarities between Donald Trump's Make America Great Again movement and the GameStop uprising. There it is right over here. That's right. Donald Trump made GameStop great again. He did it. He did it, everybody. Anyways, so if you want to read the article, honestly, I don't think it's worth it. It was a waste of my time. But if you want to do that, go ahead. I just find it so interesting that to some news media, everything for some reason gotta lead back to Trump. I mean, he's gone. Move on. When we go back to Wall Street Bets, the subreddit, who, by the way, is currently at 5.3 million degenerates. So this number has increased a lot over the course of this week. It more than doubled. Needless to say, people were pretty upset. And we had people like politicians, actors, I mean, even Ja Rule, of all people, talking about how immoral it was that Robinhood made it so that you can't buy any more GameStop shares. And I think this tweet over here by Robert Reich kind of summarizes how people, retail investors, feel about this whole situation. And Robert Reich says if Redditors rallying GameStop is unacceptable market manipulation, what would you call it when greedy Wall Street bankers gambled away our entire economy in 2008 and faced no consequences? And I kind of talked about this in my last video if you want to check it out, but a lot of people are using this as kind of like a middle finger to the big banks and hedge fund managers, bringing back the painful memories. I'm sure a lot of us lived through the 2008 stock market crash, and a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of people lost their homes, some people even went hungry or starving, and all of that was simply because Wall Street got too greedy. That's basically it. They took on risk that they shouldn't have, and it didn't pay off, and the people ended up paying the price. Now, when people found out that Robinhood made it impossible for you to purchase GameStop shares, a lot of them were pretty upset, so they went to App Store and started giving Robinhood a bad review, 1-star review or a negative review. And yeah, we just found out that Google just deleted over 100,000 negative reviews on Robinhood app on their App Store. So in other words, not only are they manipulating the market, they're also manipulating, well, everything else, even the App Store. Now, if you look at the rating and the reviews on the Robinhood app, you would know that those are not actually real ones, because Google deleted over 100,000 negative reviews. And yeah, the star rating, it should be a lot lower than it is right now. So a lot of people kind of pointed out that in the interview, Thomas Peterfy said regulators and brokers agreed that restrictions on trading, because they believed that the short squeeze would keep going and going, so they had to stop the losses. And yeah, I mean, this basically covers the whole thing. I mean, stop the losses when you're losing. Where were you guys when I bought Fastly and it dropped 30% overnight? I mean, there was nobody there to protect me from that drop. But now that you guys put yourself in the risk that you couldn't handle, so a lot of people pointed out that Robinhood, if you purchased GameStop with margin, they're automatically selling your shares. That means even if you don't want to sell right now and you believe that the shares are going to go up even higher, they're going to sell them for you because you used margin to purchase them, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that they're doing this to this extent. And the question again is, who are they selling the shares to? If the shares, if normal people aren't allowed to buy the shares, who are you selling these shares to? Now, the last thing, on January 27th, so that would be yesterday, we got this news article by Reuters, and they talked about hedge fund Melvin Capital has closed GameStop position. Now, it's important to look at the wording. Position, says the spokesman. And in the article, they talked about how they lost a huge chunk of their money, and that they're not going bankrupt. They said, and I quote, "The social media posts about Melvin Capital going bankrupt are categorically false." So they closed the position, probably just one position, and they're talking about them investing their money in some other stuff. Now, honestly, I strongly doubt that they closed their position, because one, why would they need to manipulate the market after it's all said and done? It seems like they would manipulate the market right before. And a lot of people are talking about that maybe today that's when they cover their shorts. But if you look at the volume of the stock today that was purchased, the volume doesn't really show, unless they actually messed with the numbers in the volume, which would be even worse. it doesn't seem like they covered all the shorts. You got to remember that they are short over 140%. That is an unreal amount, and they're gonna need to purchase a lot of shares. I think they're short over 66 million shares. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a lot of shares. So also keep in mind that the price on GME has been pretty stable because a lot of people are actually refusing to sell. Not so much because they care about money or they think it's going to go up, simply as a middle finger to the Wall Street that has been screwing the people over for a very long time. And now that the people learned to play the game, all of a sudden they started changing the rules. This is the point where I think people both on the left, on the right, young and old, they can agree that enough is enough. Either they should have regulations on everybody, including the hedge funds, the retail investors, anybody with any amount of money, any stake at the stock market, or they should have no regulations at all. But you can't have this where retail investors and normal everyday people keep getting screwed while the stock market, like it is today, it's up and up while half the country is having trouble paying rent. Now, there are some positives that came from this. I mean, the memes and a lot of everyday people actually made a lot of money, and that's great. But I think nobody saw the left and the right coming together anytime soon. And GameStop, it really did it. I mean, I never thought Donald Trump Jr., Ben Shapiro, and AOC would agree on something. I mean, even Ted Cruz agreed with AOC. I mean, I am pretty upset that Robinhood is basically stooping so low as that they're restricting people from purchasing something that is clearly gonna make them money. I'm pretty happy at the fact that finally we have something that we can all agree on. And what we can agree on is that the 1%, the quote unquote elites, are getting pretty nervous now that everyday people are starting to learn the rules and are starting to beat them at their own game. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you can. That would mean the world to me. I really would appreciate that. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll try to do my best to keep you updated. There's quite a lot going on right now, and I want to make sure that I'm not spreading any misinformation.